Now we're rolling, Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm always my co-host, the voice of MMA in Utah, Zach Parker. What up, dog?
What up?
Back again with another fighter spotlight. On this episode, we are welcoming Mr. Jarrett Kelton to talk about his upcoming kickboxing match this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. Jarrett, welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Is this your first time on the podcast?
I think so. Yep.
I think so. I think it is too.
Jarrett, look over here. Look over here, dog.
Jarrett's
There
like,
he is. There's the guy.
So Jarrett, you got some fun going on this weekend.
Yeah. I'm really excited to head out to Nashville. I was out there about 20 years ago, just visiting some family, but it's a great city. Rob Zabilski with Waco Team USA. They always put on a great tournament. I'm excited.
What? So for people who don't know that you're the only person from Texas I've ever met that doesn't care about football. So we want to talk about the Super Bowl with you.
Nope.
Why don't you let people know kind of like your background and stuff? And for those that don't know, Jarrett's fought some people back in the day. Jarrett's been around for a minute. He's fought Court McGee, Nick Rossborough, Jerome Hatch. He's been around for a minute. So let the people know about Jarrett Kelton a little.
Yeah, my first fight was 2005 up in Missoula, Montana. Me and a buddy of mine, Mike Arant, we were training with Eddie Morey back in Riverdale. And after about a year of training, we decided ourselves that we were ready. So I just booked us some fights, and that's where it all started. Through the years, hooked up with Aldo Oreja, and been over there. Probably been with him about 15 years, 16 years, something like that. But yeah, I enjoy coaching. Last couple of years was kind of rough with COVID, and I had a couple herniated discs, my 2, 3, and 4, and it got me pretty good. Kind of got me depressed a little bit too. But finally coming out of that and back in shape, back training. So yeah. With these events with Waco, we've had some great opportunities and a great partnership with these guys. Going over to Europe, over to Ireland, to Cancun a couple of different times, and great people to work with. They got to put on some really good camps out in Chicago, just north of Chicago there. But yeah, just like I was telling you before, every opportunity that we get for our young fighters, not just at One Hit, but at other gyms throughout the state, if they ever want to come train at One Hit and maybe try out for the team. I'm very fortunate to be the Team USA coach for Utah. Not a lot of people know that as well, but like I said, maybe looking forward down the road, maybe we'll have a tournament out here.
Yeah, maybe, so if people are trying to get a little more active in just kickboxing,
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett saying, not come try out for Utah, but you can come try out for the kickboxing team. Jarrett, you guys can go out and go do some of these other tournaments. Now, this fight in these kickboxing matches in Tennessee, these are just qualifiers, correct?
Well, this is the U.S. Nationals at this one, but you can qualify for the Pan American Championships in September out in Cancun, maybe to be part of the team.
Yeah, so is the goal to go out there, have a good showing, and then going out to Cancun in September.
Mm-hmm. Get an invite. Usually between now and then, they'll do a fight camp, a training camp out in Chicago. So guys will go out there and be there 3 or 4 days. Those are always a lot of fun. You get to meet people from all over the country, all over the world. Make some good relationships, connections. And hopefully get invited.
So how can people, if people are interested in doing this, it's probably a little bit late, obviously, to go out with you this time, but if they're interested in getting more into the kickboxing and doing that type of stuff, I feel like there is a lack of kickboxing and stuff promoting here in Utah. But if there's other opportunities, what's the best way for them to get involved with that type of stuff?
They could just direct message me. Pretty easy to get in contact with. Swing by One Hit. We're there. I'm there usually Mondays and Wednesdays. But to myself or to Zach get a hold of me pretty easy. But just let me know. Because I have had some conversations with even some of our guys at our gyms that maybe MMA is really not their thing. But with these kind of bigger gloves, the We do wear like shin guards, in the K1, and it's a real small headgear. It's pretty much just to kind of protect for cuts. But yeah, it's a little different. So, but it's not MMA. A lot of guys that are married and have kids, they kind of worry, and their wives worry about them getting hurt or whatever. And sometimes with the headgear and the shin guards and it just being kickboxing, they're sometimes a little more easy to talk into letting them compete.
And this is for all skill levels, right? You don't have to have a certain amount of fights to
No.
come try out for this. It's literally all skill levels.
Yeah, and you can have pro fights. Another one of my guys was asking me about it, and you'll just be in the K1 division.
Okay,
So
that's good to know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's great to know. That's great information to be able to pass on to people.
I have a question for you, Jarrett. This is one thing that I can't figure out as I've gotten into combat sports over the last 5-6 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to see MMA fights where they just want people to stand and bang, right? Like they're on the ground, people start booing, yelling at the ref, stand him up, whatever, right? They just want them to stand and bang. But nobody really gets behind Glory Kickboxing or some of the kickboxing events or whatever.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
I just don't think they've got the big enough platform yet. With the Glory and the One Fighting Championships that's out there, they're amazing. And there's some amazing athletes. Nikki Holskin, Gogan Saki, if people, once they ever see the highlights or they see clips of it, they're just like, whoa, even it was probably been within the last 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was Thomas Hughes that turned me onto it. And I was like, wow. And yeah. And then fortunately working with Dwayne and those guys out in Denver over the last, 6, 7 years, I got to meet some of those guys from Europe, and their style and learn their styles. And I try to implement a lot of that into our training that we do at One Hit with this Assam Muay Thai.
Yeah. Again, so, I mean, it's just because I don't know, MMA has just been, it's I think it's the fastest growing sport in this country, maybe in the world right now. But everybody wants to see stand and bang. And it's every time I watch Glory Kickboxing, K1, all the stuff over at One, you go back and watch it all. And it's this is what everybody wants. I don't know. I think this is a good way for people to kind of dive into more than just MMA and just focus on the stand up. If that's what you're into, it's super entertaining and a great product to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And they've done even our guy that we train with, good buddy of ours, me and Zach's, Joe Rodriguez got an opportunity a couple years ago to shoot out to Denver and jump on an awesome Glory card. Though Nikki Holskin was the main event out there. It was pretty crazy. But, if we could ever get a show that size, to come out, when the UFC was here a couple years ago, I mean, that was awesome. Utah is just not there yet. We just don't have the platform yet.
We're in there.
So we need a promotion to get behind kickboxing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've had a couple dabble in it, but we need another one. Yeah.
More consistent. More consistent. I know Steel Fist did one a couple years ago. Mountain Force was doing it for a while.
Steel Fist had a good thing going, but from what I understand,
for COVID.
The COVID. But from what I understand, now they're allowing kickboxing in a cage. And if I understand correctly, we will see some kickboxing on the March Steel Fist card.
That's awesome because years ago, that's what one of the former promotions with Mr. Stedham, UCE, they used to do that. I fought a couple kickboxing matches in the cage 12, 13, 14 years ago for the UCE. But then they kind of got away from that. Out in Denver, the Colorado, they still allow it. I just fought out there 2 years ago, kickboxing. It was a Muay Thai fight in a cage.
You're aging yourself there a little bit, Jarrett.
Yeah, I mean, when I read off the list of the who's who of who you've actually fought, I didn't give the dates on that for a reason. I didn't want to age you, Coach, but
Well, it is what it is,
Hey, yep.
Hey, Eddie, I say that with all the love and respect because I know I'm probably going to eat a head kick or something this week.
No, you're fine, bud. I won't be there. I'll be in Nashville. You'll be safe this week.
Oh, perfect.
So Jarrett, how does the tournament work? Do you just go there, you fight in one fight, or is it like it's a tournament, right? So you could fight 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's tournament style. And it seems like a lot of the lighter weights, my buddy Thomas, we went to Ireland and he fought 3 different times. Casey, he'd go and he'd fight a couple of different times. It depends on how many people are in your bracket. But what'll happen is a lot of people don't understand this. You need to fight at these tournaments at close to your walk weight because you weigh in each day you fight.
Oh, I like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you get yourself in shape, and then there's no like weight cutting or anything. It's just you're but that way at least you're fighting people that are your size.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I give you an example. When me and Casey were in Cancun the last 2 years.
By the way, he's talking about Casey Radden for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah. You're out there for 5 days. They get all the good food they got. You got to be at kind of your walk weight and not overindulge too much. But you're still training every day. We still had our afternoon workouts. You keep your routine so you're not falling off. I had this conversation last week with a couple guys that had fights coming up, and just about what do you do the week of? I don't change a whole lot. I dial some of the hard sparring back, but I've had fighters ask me this and do this where the week before they do absolutely nothing, and then they're playing head games with them. What do I do today? I'm usually training at this time. What you got to kind of keep your regimen, if you would.
Yeah. So I do have a question. I think that there's people that'll see this, that'll be interested in doing this, but you're talking about traveling to, Nashville, you're talking about Cancun, Ireland, or whatever. Is it a pretty big financial investment to get into doing this?
No. A lot of times you'll have to cover some expenses, depending on your skill level, how good you are. There are some of the other bigger tournaments that, they can help out with a few things, but, roughly you're figuring your airfare, hotels for a few nights, but it's great opportunities. Like I said, it's about the partnerships, the collaboration that you're working with from different teams across the world. It's been a great experience.
Good.
Jarrett, is there a way that people could watch these fights this weekend?
Yeah. They've got if they go to WACO, it's WAKO Kickboxing. We've got a website and there'll be a feed on there. I'm not sure what the fee is on it, or.
I got to watch you kickbox again?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm tuning in. Now I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm not watching that sorry UFC card they got going. I'm watching Jarrett kickbox.
I'll make sure I put it in the show notes. I'll look it up so people listen and check the show notes. I'll make sure I put the link in the show notes.
Awesome.
Jarrett.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, any sponsors you want to give a shout out to? Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I'll always, Jason with Vapor Mania and JJS Subwoofers. They've been our sponsors for years. Aldo Areja, One Hit, Damage Plan. You guys have been great. Just across the board, we always and have been, with Assassin Fight Company, working to support local MMA and support local MMA fighters. Enjoy it.
Well, we will be watching you this weekend. Throw down in the cage, and good luck to you guys, you and all your fighters that you bring down there with you as well.
Yeah, Daisy Nelson, like I said, she's a new female that we've got there at One Hit, so keep an eye on her.
Yeah,
awesome.
Really good.
Appreciate the opportunity, guys. It's good seeing you guys.
Thanks again. Yep, thanks again, Jarrett. Appreciate you joining us.
You're safe this Wednesday, Zach. Like I said, I'll be out of state, so you're safe.
You'll be back just in time next week. You'll be time back just to help with a couple Shark Tanks for my fight. It'll be good.
I got you, brother. I'll always help you.
I know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
We out, guys. See you later.